All right. So Mario has helped realtors, law officers, and entrepreneurs use Instagram the right way, building real connections, increasing engagement, and turning followers into clients. So today he's going to break down some of the foundations of Instagram, showing you exactly what works and what doesn't, so you can get and start seeing the results quickly. So get ready for some practical tips, some real world examples tomorrow will show you, as well as some strategies on how to implement this. So I want to give you a warm welcome, Mario. Thank you for joining, and grab your pen and paper and let's take some notes. All right.
Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into it, guys. So I call this IG 101 prepping for content, right? But this is actually this is part of so there's a 5 phase like sequence that I go through when I explain to everybody how to actually monetize using social. And this, what I'm about to show you guys, is actually what I consider phase two. Phase one is a little bit longer, and it's 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 something that's super important, but most people uh skip because it's not as fun. I realize that when people want to start getting active on social, they kind of jump right into this phase right here, which is let's go create the content and put out as much stuff as possible. But I think that the 2 phases before that are super important. And phase two, which we're going to run through today, which are some logistics that I think you need to have nailed down before you start phase three, and phase one, which is discovery and foundation. That's really kind of figuring out what it is that you're going to put out on social that makes you different than everyone else. And that takes a little bit longer. And there's a ton of exercises that I've done to actually help my clients get through that discovery and foundation part. And I'm going to share at the end of this presentation an invitation to a free school community that I run that has all these exercises in there. So today, like I said, we're going to focus on phase two, which is prepping for content. I've done a lot of presentations, and to be honest, I do get tired of hearing myself speak. I think when people are interactive and they ask questions, it just makes for a better webinar. It just makes if you guys are here and don't have questions, there's a problem, right? So as I'm going through this, if something comes up, feel free to interrupt me. That's why the slides are here. I could get right back on course. But if there's questions that you have, don't be afraid to ask and don't think it's a silly question. Most people will hesitate asking a question, thinking that everybody knows the answer except them, and they're usually wrong. Usually the question that you want to ask but don't ask is the same question that everybody else wants to ask but doesn't ask. So please don't be embarrassed to ask anything. Okay? That being said, for those of you who don't know me or we're not following each other on social, my name is Mario. People call me the monk, and this started as a longer story, which maybe we'll get into later. But basically, for the last few years, I've spent some time building up my personal brand, specifically on Instagram. I really don't dabble on any of the other platforms, although they're all great. YouTube, LinkedIn, everything works. It's just I chose to stick with one platform and I kind of went all in on it. And I suggest that if you're just getting started, you do the same. It could be very overwhelming if you try to tackle every single platform there is. I think the best place to start is the one that your audience is going to be on. But if you don't know who your ideal audience is, the next best place to start is the one that you're going to be most comfortable with and that you'll enjoy being on. So built my personal brand, just over, 20 something thousand people, not many, across the platforms. I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers. And this is something that I tell a lot of you guys in this business. Tom, for the most part, everybody here is a realtor, loan officer? Yes?
Pretty much vast majority of realtors.
Realtors, okay. So we're not selling widgets here, guys, right? Where you're making $17 for every product sold. So you don't need to hit thousands of people to make money. You need to hit hundreds of people, if that, right? So I think when a lot of people are getting started, they think they need a large following, but they forget that you're not selling a $15 product. Your commissions are in the thousands, so you don't need that many people to make a good living. But what you do have to have is a reason for people to follow you. So I just want to say again here, I am not a social media growth coach. I do not consider myself an expert. I do not consider myself a guru on anything. If anything, I consider myself an avid learner, meaning I love to learn new strategies. I love to implement new strategies, and 90% of the time I fail at the things that I do. And then what I do from that is I take the 10% of the things that work and I go to my people, the people who are in any of my circles, and I tell them, here's what worked for me. Right. But the one thing I was never afraid to do on social was fail. But I don't want to give you guys the wrong idea. I'm not here to teach you guys how to get to 100,000 followers. That's not my bag. It's not one of my strong suits. It's not what I do. Um, so a little bit of background on me. I was a top producing loan officer for Wells Fargo for 10 years, closing 50 million plus. I had left the business for a while. I started a fitness company with my best friend where we raised some capital, launched 2 locations, um, came back into this business and had to start from scratch. And when I realized that I had to, I was kind of delusional in thinking that I left for 5 years. And when I came back, my realtor partners will be like waiting for me with open arms. And I was as a loan officer, and we would just kind of pick up where we left off, but that wasn't the case, right? I was replaced within the first week of leaving the industry, and when I came back, I had to start over. So my plan was to get onto social and never work with a realtor again. I decided I was going to create content that spoke directly to the consumer, and I was going to bypass realtors. And that was the initial strategy, right? But Tom, there's some background noise coming from someone. Could you just make sure everyone's muted? Can you hear me? Good. Okay. Uh, so like I said, I decided to bypass realtors, and it's not something that we're going to cover in this webinar, but basically what happened was I started putting out content that went directly to buyers and consumers, and I attracted realtors instead. They liked the way that I was doing my personal branding. They liked the way that I was putting myself out there, and I started becoming a collaborator. And I started working with a ton of realtors that way. And we'll save that for another time. But I'm going to show you how I got to that point. Okay. And the reason I have here on this slide social media crossed out is I think when people say social media, it puts something into their head like there's something completely new. This is online networking. That's all it is, right? And as salespeople, we've done networking our entire life. Uh, Maybe up until a certain point, it was just in person and shaking hands. But I find this to be a lot easier. You get to say one message and potentially hit hundreds or thousands of people. But even if you just hit 30 with one message, I like that it eliminated a lot of individual conversations for me. I'm an introvert, so being around people has always drained me. So I found that kind of this type of networking worked well for me. And it helped me to develop a business. Being on social and Instagram specifically, I was able to build a business that generates 50 to 60,000 a month from Instagram alone. Nothing else, no ads, no word of mouth or anything, just from Instagram. It's helped me connect with some big names in the industry. I was able to launch an invite-only community called the Collab Project that Tom had mentioned earlier. I've been featured in articles, and I've been able to help hundreds of people around the world. So, and I've made friends with people from all over the world. Italy, India, it's been an incredible journey, and I'm actually happy to share exactly what I've done to get to this point with all of you. So I'm just going to pause here for 1 second. Any questions so far? Anybody have anything that they want to ask? Tom, anything do you want me to address?
I want to make sure that everybody can see your screen. I assume that they can, but I want to just double check if someone could put a yes or a
Yeah,
thumbs
sure.
up in the chat, please.
Good.
And secondly, I believe Mario, you're going to mention this later, but you do have a free school academy where they can join to learn more, correct?
Yep, I'll put that link at the bottom of the
Okay, cool.
at the end of the presentation. Happy to get everybody in
All right.
there.
Yeah. And then there's, one other thing too, we can talk about this later, but I believe there's like three new features that recently Instagram rolled out. Would you be able to share some of that information today?
Depends on if you tell me what they are specifically.
Like the
They're
length
always
of
rolling out
reels,
something. Oh, that's what,
length of
3 minutes
reels.
now, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I don't, yeah, we could touch on it at the end. I
yeah.
don't know if it really goes with this particular
Sure.
thing, but
Okay.
sure, whatever questions anyone has, happy to answer to the best of my
Okay.
ability. So most common mistakes that I see people make when first coming onto Instagram. Remember, this is not a whole course in just social media, just really specifically Instagram is people thinking that they need a large following for it to be worth it. Like I just said, uh, the majority of people that I speak to, they're always speaking in terms of likes and you know uh, the amount of views and things like that. Again, I think that the important thing is to concentrate on just speaking to anyone in the very beginning and putting out a lot of messaging to see what resonates with people. So don't get caught up in the metrics, the likes, shares, etc. I think people overcomplicate the process. They worry too much about how they look, their equipment that they're using, what they're going to talk about. But again, it's really a game of just diving in and getting going. Um, Not ready to show up as themselves is a big one as well. They they people tend to hide the beautiful things about themselves, the things that make them different. It seems like when you're first starting out, those are the things that they want to hide. They you're people are trying their hardest to blend in and be like everyone else, and I think that that's a major issue. And then again, jumping right into content before addressing some of the basic things that I'm going to show you in the upcoming slides. And this is a pretty powerful slide right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it was one of my favorite posts that I put out, which is just saying, 30 followers is a coffee shop full of people. 200 followers is a wedding full of people. 500 followers is an auditorium full of people. 1,000 followers is a conference room full of people. So when people are like, I have a very small audience, well, I ask them, okay, well, when was the last time you gave a presentation to 30 people? And Tom, just randomly pick on somebody and ask them just when was the last time they spoke to 30 people? Pick a random.
Tiffany.
Tiffany, you got picked on.
So the last time I talked to 30 people,
Yeah.
oh, I would have to say about a month ago.
Okay. So what was it? Where was it? What did you give a presentation on?
So I guess no, I actually
I'm
I
not
would
trying
say
to, I'm
like
not
6 months
trying,
ago. It
okay.
was a
And just so you know, Tiffany, I'm not trying to trip you up.
oh no,
I'm trying to show you that 30 people seems like a lot, right? When you were speaking to 30 people
yeah,
in a room, it felt like a lot of people. But for
yes,
some reason, when people have 30 followers or 30 people have seen somebody's post, they don't look at it the same way. The message hit the
true.
same amount of people, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they just look at it like it's a small number, but it's not. 30 people is a big number to be in front of, for me anyway.
Yeah,
Okay. So
totally
thank you,
agree.
Tiffany. Again, wasn't trying to put you on
Yeah,
the spot. It's really trying to show that we think we need a larger audience than we do. But if anyone's ever spoken to an audience of this size, it's actually pretty intimidating for most of us. Some of you guys may
agreed.
be pros at talking to people. I was certainly not one of them. And the audience kind of grew as I got better at speaking. If I would have started putting out, content and addressing 5, 6, 7,000 people right away, and that would have been a problem because I started speaking to 5, 6,000 people almost organically as it was time to speak to that many people. Does that make sense? right? Like I got through a lot of shitty content and a lot of terrible messaging to a very small group of people. All right. So here's the first few things that I did when I got started. And this is what I call prepping for content. This is something really that was like super important to me. Okay. Because there's so many social platforms out there. I never wanted to give somebody my name and then have a different social handle for every single platform. So, it's Mario Trotta on LinkedIn, and it's the Mario Trotta here, and then it's Mario.Trotta 007 here. So what I did was I made sure that that I had one name across the board. And I'm gonna just to show you guys how crazy I am. I went with the Mario Trotta because it was the only one that was available across every single channel. Mario Trotta, which was just my name, wasn't available on just one platform, Instagram. Somebody had taken that name 5 years ago. If you were to go to Mario Trotta right now, you'll see it's some kid in Italy with 3 posts, and that's it. But because I wanted the same name, I went and I put the in front of it just so that it would be uniform across all platforms. So that if I said my handle, they could see it everywhere. And one of the things that I did when I first started, my original handle was the Mortgage Monk. Okay. And it actually worked really well for branding. But the problem was, as I started getting bigger and bigger, nobody knew my name. I would go places and people would call me the monk, but nobody ever knew my name. So if I ever wanted to write a book or do something like that, people weren't associating my name with my handle. So about halfway through, 3 years in, I decided to change my handle to my name, because the mortgage monk works so well. So anyway, that being said, I want you guys to choose something that you won't outgrow. And here's what I mean. I don't want you to have a handle that says Heather EXP Realty. You may not be with EXP Realty forever. You may not be a realtor forever. Remember, when I started this, I was a mortgage LO, but then I transitioned into marketing, a community leader, way more different things, and I was kind of pigeonholed with my name. So I had changed it, and I try to advise people not to make the same mistake. Try to get as close to your name as possible. Try to avoid like any dashes, numbers. The worst thing that can happen is when somebody just took a photo with you and they're trying to tag you in a photo and they go to type in your name and your name doesn't come up because it's nowhere in your bio. It's not your handle. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Right? When like if Heather goes to tag Tom, but Tom's handle is mortgage maniac 327, right? And she can't find him, she's gonna skip the tag. We shouldn't make finding you on social a hunt. It's got to be as simple as possible, right? So when choosing your handle, choose something you won't outgrow. Choose something that is easy to remember. Make it as short as possible, and avoid characters and numbers. And there's a site here, which I'll come back to. They must have changed it here. Okay, I'm going to drop it in the thing because if you were to click on here, it's a social media name checker. Let me go to chat. I'm going to drop it right in the chat for you guys.
Mario,
Yes.
what if somebody is doing like separate business and personal?
Ooh, I
You
have a
have-
problem with that. So, okay. First off, managing one account is really hard. Okay. Managing 2 accounts becomes even harder. Now, the only time that I have ever agreed with any of my clients that they could have kind of 2 pages is for realtors. And here's why. because every realtor tells me that they need to do the just sold and the just listed, and I can't get it out. I can't get that out of their heads. So I'm like, fine, then just use your business page to post that boring shit. If you have to show, your sellers that you're posting their listings and you're just sold, fine. Use your business account for that. But I don't have a different personality, like in business and in my personal life. If you saw me in business or I came to one of your events, I'm probably dressed just the way I am right now. I'd probably look the same, act the same. So I don't believe in having two different pages. I think having one page that kind of talks all about you is the best way to go. And I there's ways to incorporate your personal life into your business messaging. For example, one of my best performing posts is when I spoke about being younger and being in Gamblers Anonymous. Okay. And I didn't tell the story like a sob story, like, oh, my life was so bad, I was in GA. I actually used it to tell how that was the first time that I saw grown men being vulnerable and how much it impacted me when I went to this meeting and, same similar things for Alcoholics Anonymous and whatnot, when somebody was sharing a story with a complete stranger. And I'm like, that takes so much courage to do that. And I remember I was 16 years old and I was petrified, but those people that had the courage to do that gave me um an opportunity to feel comfortable to do the same. And it was just a lesson that happened to me, or a lesson I learned at 16, and I talked about it in one of my stories and my posts. And it was incredible how this story of vulnerability combined with this personal experience of mine of being in GA led to so many conversations I had with people that were like, hey, I never told anybody I was in GA also, or, my brother's in AA, or whatever it was. It sparked a ton of conversation. And then that was the first time I realized, like, hey, if I want people to kind of be open and trust me, I think I have to do that first. And when I got on social, I was at a point of my life where I was ready to kind of be me and show up as me. So sorry if that went off on a little bit of a tangent, Heather, but that's why I'm so adamant on not having a business life and a personal life. It's all one for me. Does that make sense to everybody? Because that's actually a really good question, Heather, and it comes up often. So if anybody else would like to ask a question about that, I'm happy to answer it.
No one
No? Okay.
else has any
Yeah.
questions? A quick question I have is, what type of account should they have? Like the creator account, or what? How should they have it set up?
Oh, that's different. So yeah, I think I have I've bounced between business and creator account. I think for the most part, I've stuck to a creator account for the most amount of time, only because that shows the most data. So definitely don't leave it as just personal. It should be business or creator, just because of the analytics and the data that you get. I also think if you decided to run ads, I don't think you could do it on a personal account. Good question, Tom. Okay, guys. So first thing, handle simple, as close to your name as possible. Do not have like EV 2004 realtor. It's just it's way too complicated. You guys got to make things as simple as possible. So these were my original business cards that I had done with MOO, and they were amazing. They were like super thick cards, but my name, my contact information, I never put that stuff anywhere. It was literally just my handle. At the time, it was Mortgage Monk, like I said, um, but never put my name or anything. No phone number, just my message, my logo, and my handle. And these were really cool business cards from Moo. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that company, but they had some really cool stuff. And again, just to show you guys, same across the board. Also, another thing, for any of you guys who have children or for yourselves too, buy your own domain name. Like if it's still available. You should have tomseaman.com, mariotrotta.com, whatever your name is, you should own it. I've already done it for both my children as well. Something I think you should have.
I just got a quick question.
Sure.
Can you change your personal account to a curator account? Or you got to start all over.
No, you could go ahead and change it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So if you were to just Google, because I don't remember the exact steps, but it's in settings. If you would just go to Google and be like change from personal account to creator account on Instagram, it'll give you step by step. Probably like 3 steps to do it. Okay. Next is profile pic. So if you guys ever get like a ton of DMs and you just scroll through, I can promise you that if you have any that have this kind of like bright background behind it, they stand out way more than others. Okay. So when it comes to your profile pic, again, I think you should use the same pic across all platforms. I think it should be a headshot, nothing with your body, and this image is small enough to begin with. I don't think it should be a logo. And I think you should do something that makes the background pop. So, here's 3 examples of what to do, what not to do. Right? When you're scrolling through a lot of different DMs and messages, these 3 pop out way more than these 3, than the 3 X's. All right.
And Mario,
Yep.
do you use Canva to create your headshot?
So actually I used Canva, but this one seemed to make it really easy for people. pfpmaker.com. It like kind of removed the background and like gave all these different crazy options. So if you're not familiar with Canva, this is one that you could use. I was pretty good at Canva and Photoshop, so I probably used Photoshop to make mine. To be
Heather,
honest.
do we have a template for Canva for that?
Oh,
Can't hear you.
but I'm sure in Canva they have their own.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
Right, guys, any questions up to this point? This all makes sense, like your name should be easy, your picture should pop, right? Like, again, just basic stuff that just people skip over. This line right here is searchable. This, again, should be your name. You have 30 available characters to put in here. Now, I made a mistake of not putting a title after my name. And in order for me to do that now, because of this verification, I have to shut off the verification. I have to resubmit for a new verification, send in my license and all that. So to me, it just wasn't worth it. But if you haven't created a verification account, you should definitely have your name, a slash, and something that you do. Mortgage Hello, IG Growth Coach, NY Realtor. All this in here is searchable. Just like a Google search engine. Okay. Next is having a clear bio. So you should answer these questions. Tell us who you help. Tell us what you help them do. Tell us how you help them do it. Tell us what you want us to do next. So, for example, mine was, I help top producing realtors, LOs, and influencers. What do I help them do? I help them connect, collaborate, and create content. How do I do it? Through an invite-only network. What do I want you to do next? Click the link below to learn more. Very simple. Guys, everything is always about simplicity. Don't try to be like clever and tell people exactly what you do, who you help, and what you want them to do next. What this is a giant funnel, right? So they find you on social. What is it that you want them to do? And having a strong call to action is the most important thing to me. I always, when I first got started, was schedule a 15-minute consult. All right. I'm gonna go a little bit off topic here, because I want to show you guys something. Okay, I just taking you up to this point, scheduling a 15-minute consult. I want to show you exactly how this got me to 50,000 a month. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this for a second. Let me open this. This isn't part of the presentation, but I just want to show you. Can everybody see this diagram that I have here? Yeah, good. Okay. This is exactly how it happened for me. Okay. Number one, I got clarity on what I was good at and what I love to do. So what I love to do and what I was really good at. Then what I started to do was I created content about what I was good at. At that time, I was promoting helping realtors with branding, helping loan officers with systems, whatever it may be. Okay. I started posting content about the shit that I was good at. And the call to action was schedule a 15-minute Zoom with me. Okay. Can you guys see this all clear or no? That's okay. Once they hopped on a 15, so all of my Zooms, and you can ask Tom or anybody else on this call who's ever spoken to me, every single one of my Zooms are recorded automatically. Okay, so the second that you get on a Zoom, it's on auto record. I never have to remember to hit record. It's always being recorded. I've literally recorded, I don't know, thousands of conversations that I've had over the last 7 years. Every conversation I've had is always on Zoom and it's always recorded. Okay, so follow me here. My goal was to have 5 Zoom calls per day, 15 minutes each. If I had 5 Zoom calls per day, that meant that I was speaking to 25 new people per week. That meant that I was speaking to 100 new people per month. That's 1,200 people per year. Everybody just follow that math? Okay, 5 15-minute Zooms equals 1,200 new people a year. The Zooms were already being recorded, so I never had to go make new content. I went into the conversations that I had. I would take a 30-second snippet of one good part of that conversation, and I would give it to whoever was on the call with me. What do you think they did with that video when I gave them a snippet of them talking about themselves? They shared it because it was about them. So what do you think happens when 1,200 people share videos with you in it? It just kept filling the funnel for how many people wanted to speak with me. So during these calls, I ask questions. What do you people need? What are your pains? What are you hoping for? I would then take that, reuse it for content, and I would start creating offers for the things that you guys are telling me that you need and want. So I had my Zooms, I created offers, I got clients, I built systems, and that is how I got to $50,000 a month. And I just kept using every single person who wanted to speak with me as leverage for their networks. They just kept putting me in front of more and more people. So the biggest mistake that I see most people make, okay, is that you try to do it all on your own. You try to like be solo and put out content and grow that way. It's so much easier when you just do it with other people. They'll share it because one, most people aren't even going to make a video of themselves. So the fact that you just gave it to them done already, it's a lot easier. But it's so much easier to grow when other people are sharing videos with you in it. People start wondering who you are. How do you know all these people? It's exactly what happened for me. I'm going to pause here for a minute because, guys, I literally just gave you the step-by-step secret sauce of how to get to 600K a year easily by speaking to 5 people a day. Now, here's the difference. I knew what I was fucking good at. So I spoke about it. That's the only difference right now is between me and a lot of you guys is that you haven't spent time figuring out what you're really good at. Tom and I have recently been talking about his super strengths, and I'm just curious if Tom, have you started going all in on what you and I spoke about?
Working on it,
Okay, so there's this delay, right? But
right?
I'm telling you to just go. Go and you will thank me.
Yeah, and the agents can do that too. Like for example, the 15-minute calls set up for your either your leads, do a Zoom call with them, or your clients that you close to do the annual reviews and record it and ask them, what questions they have, and or
You don't even have to do
and
Tom.
then you chop it up and you post it in content.
Yep, here's what you guys could do. That's great, great memory, Tom. So here's what my clients have done as realtors, okay? Because now it's even easier. You don't even need to do a Zoom. Now you can go on IG Live and it's already there. You don't even have to edit nothing. You literally just hit share, okay? What my realtor clients are doing now is they're calling their clients that they've closed with, and they're saying, look, I'd love to introduce you to my community. You want to hop on a 5-minute IG live and just talk about your business for 5 minutes, what you do. What do you think people say when you're like, hey, I want to promote your business? Are you interested in hopping on a 5-minute call? It's a win-win for everyone. Then you take that video. So Tom, let's pretend Tom is a realtor. He calls up Heather. Heather's a client that he's closed with. She owns a yoga studio. Tom says, hey, Heather, just want to, I want my network to get to know who you are, right? We've just worked together for 6 months. I want to help promote your business. Do you want to hop on a 5-minute IG live with me? They hop on a 5-minute IG live. Heather, tell us about your yoga studio that you just opened up in XYZ town. Heather starts talking about it. Great, Heather. If anyone comes and says that they saw this message or they saw this with Tom Seaman, can you give them a discount on their first class? Yes, of course. Their first class is on me, free, whatever, half price. Great. Okay, great. Tom goes and shares this video. Then Tom takes that link to that video and he blasts his entire database and says, hey guys, I'm doing this with all of my clients to show appreciation, and I want to help more people learn about you. Here's one that I just did with Heather, promoting her yoga studio. By the way, free class on me if you decide to go. But here's a link to my calendar if you'd like to be the next guest on my IG Live. It's that easy. I don't see too many people's faces on here, Tom, so I can't tell like reactions and whatnot. But to me, it's like that simple to do. And I would love just anybody on here. Is that something that seems simple to do? Does that seem like something you can do?
It seemed like
Oh, you
it's
had a
something to
question.
do if they own a business, but what about the people that work in the grocery store as a baker, or cleaning the floors? They don't want to get on here and talk about themselves with that.
Great. Do they have a brother or a sister that owns a business that they would like to help promote? Everybody knows somebody.
Well, I guess
So-
I'd take it a different direction as well, Mario.
Yeah,
That person that Mo mentioned, are they looking to buy a home, and what questions do they have that they could ask from the consumer standpoint that you can answer that question and use that as content?
absolutely. You could do that, or you could use it as an opportunity to promote one of their loved ones or friends. Either one.
Yeah. And Mo had a question.
Sure.
Are you giving them the full 15-minute video?
No, I only gave them, if anybody ever asked for it, I gave it to them. It was just a little bit extra work for me. Plus I wanted to do the editing, right? I wanted to make sure I was in the video. So I never gave it directly to them. Mo likes that.
And if anybody's open-minded to doing either a Zoom call or preferably Instagram Live I can ask you questions of what your clients are asking you and do an interview. Happy to do that with you guys for 5 or 10 minutes. Just let me know. Either put me in the chat or also shoot me an email. We can find a time later to do that.
So yeah, I just want to address this because I love when stuff like this comes up, okay? Anytime we ask somebody to do something and don't make it easy, we put barriers of it happening, right? So, for example, what Tom just did was great. He made an offer and said, guys, if anybody wants to hop on, Let's do it together. And he kind of put the ball in your court, right? But here's how you make it easier. Tom is going to do exactly what I do. Tom is going to go to Calendly and he's going to create time slots for IG Lives, right, Tom? And then you send them that link because it's just easier. You guys got to get used to making things so fucking easy for people that they don't have to think, right? Because the second you're like, what time works for you? And you start this back and forth. I have 10 meetings booked before most people have one. It takes them 10 days to get something planned because, hey, how's Tuesday work for you? Then the next day they get back to me. Tuesday doesn't work for me. How's Thursday work for you? Then another whole day goes by. Yo, here's a link to my calendar. Book a call with me. Just make things super simple for people. I'm glad that just came up too, because it's one of the things that, Tom, I always, everybody has the right intentions and I know you're a doer. I really want to hammer into everyone's head. Guys, make things super simple for them. If you don't make it easy for them, we all get in our own way. Even if we want to do it, we just don't. Good question, Mo. Thanks, Tom. So here's a couple of other, types of call to action. Again, mine was always schedule a 15-minute Zoom. Learn more, get started, apply now. Apply now is a dangerous one. I see a lot of mortgage LOs trying to get people right from like your site to like your life. Like, give me all of your information. That's a tough one, right? You gotta ease people into stuff. Right. And again, in your game, guys, this isn't something that's happening tomorrow. A lot of these people you need to speak to for a couple weeks, months, maybe even years before they pull the trigger. So like patience is the name of the game for you guys. How do I stay on somebody's radar until they need me? Because it's not something that they need all the time.
Yeah, a couple of things going back to the last slide that I'll bring up that are kind of mentioned there, but not really. For agents, maybe you want to create like a one-page document about tips to get your house ready for sale, or the common documents you need to get a pre-approval. Just a one-pager to draw them into your funnel to get their name, email, and phone number, as well as maybe another idea would be to sign up for a newsletter.
Yep. Great. The one that I heard works best for realtors always is the value of your home. It's always like a really big one. What's your home worth now? Okay. Highlights. This is another one. I know we're kind of getting pressed for time here, but this is another favorite of mine. You guys, does everybody here know where to find the highlights? Right here, at Instagram. Everyone should have it about me. And this is where you just tell a little bit to people who are kind of new to your page about yourself. And I give a full example here, and this is also something I share in my school community, so you guys could see and you could take my slide. So it's just like a series of photos that I just kept slapping on text to. So as you're hitting that button, like new text is appearing as you're tapping through. But it's like new to my feed. My name is Mario. Here's what you can expect from, following this account. This is when I was a mortgage LO. And then a few of my accolades. And then what do I want them to do next? Send me a DM. So it's about me, what you can expect, why me, and here's what I want you to do next. Real simple to put together, but I think it's super powerful. And then also a couple other things that I share in the school community is a content calendar, some things that you could do for 30 days, an engagement strategy for 1 hour using 15-minute blocks. And for those of you who are interested in joining the school community, I'm gonna drop the link right here in the chat. There we go. And that's it, guys. That's the end of the presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have for the next 10 or so minutes. Or until you're done with me.
The highlights, you can only add to that section from a story, right?
Right, so you have to upload So it's like you upload it as a story and then you file it in the About Me. I actually think there may be ways. No. I think you still have to make it a story. The thing that you used to have to do but don't have to do anymore is your cover had to be a story, and now they make it where your cover doesn't have to be. You could just like upload an image.
Thank you.
Tom, thanks so much for giving me the floor, brother. Anything, any
Yeah.
questions you have? Anything else I can do?
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. What about the little bubble above your picture? About what's new? Any thoughts on adding that? A comment above that?
Bubble above my picture?
Yeah, like you can put a comment in there, or a quote.
Oh, is it where like you could, yeah, I haven't used that. There's a lot of new things that come here and there. I really stick to, for the most part, with just all of the main features that have been here.
Sure.
The new
And-
ones, there's times where there's new features I have no idea about.
Okay. And the link, well, any suggestions on what should be the primary link that they show in their bio?
Yeah, I think it should be schedule 15-minute Zoom and then take it right to the calendar. That's what I think. The goal
anybody
is to
needs-
get people to talk to you. So my clients were always like, well, how do you measure success? And it was never from like getting a deal. It was literally, I would tell them how many people are reaching out to me a day to ask me a question about anything. Didn't matter what they were asking me. As long as people are reaching out to me for something, that means I'm showing up and I'm at least making people feel comfortable enough to ask questions. They want my opinion on something. That's how I always measured success.
So everybody on here is pretty much from the Appleton Fox Valley market. So what are you seeing? I don't want to say trends, but for lack of a better word, trends or other things that other agents or successful business people are doing or posting, whether it's
I want
static
everybody
or
to,
video.
yeah, I want everybody to follow my girl Bianca, Live Love Queens. Live Love Queens. So Bianca, you've met her, Tom. She's in the collab project, right? She's top realtor. And we made some, she came on board about a year ago, and I remember her page was like Bianca Calasuno team or something like that, right? And I'm like, change it. This we want this to be a theme page. It's like, this doesn't have to be about you. And we changed her page name to Live Love Queens, and everything that she does is about the community. Who just moved into the community, specials, deals going on in the community, new restaurants opening up in the community. That is how you win as a realtor on social. That's exactly what I would do. I would own a community. She's getting so many, she hits me up now and she's like, Mario, I don't even know what to do with like everyone who's asking me all these questions. And I'm like, okay, our next step then is to create a school community for you. Bring them into a different community where they have more access to you. Let's get your local businesses more involved. I mean, she's averaging probably 1,000 shares per video, which means 1,000 people are sharing it to their friends because it's an ice cream shop that just opened up and they didn't know about it. That's the best advice I could give, Tom. Like, follow Bianca Calasuno. Live, love,
And
Queens.
like you were just saying too, like if you don't have anybody you know that's a business owner, either go on Facebook and ask, who is a business owner or who do they know that's a business owner so they can tag them, then reach out to those people, or start reaching out to business owners in your local community and start interviewing them.
Yeah. My podcast this morning, we did Josh Wilton. Josh is a really big realtor of ours from Princeton, New Jersey. He had the mayor on his podcast this morning. It was a great podcast.
I have a question.
Sure, shoot.
With I like the idea of interviewing like different businesses and stuff. With somebody who doesn't have a lot of followers, would you rather do like a story and then post it on your account so that way people can view it, or you think live is still the best way?
No, it doesn't matter however you do it, just use the collab feature, right? So when you post it, you know how you can invite so don't tag them, invite them as a collaborator so that you both have the benefit of each other's audiences. Does that make sense? So instead of, because if you tag somebody, their followers don't see it. But if you invite them as a collaborator, it also pops up on their feed. So now you have it on your feed and their feed, and you're getting the engagement from both of your feeds as one. Does that make sense? So it doesn't
Yep.
matter whether you do it as an IG live or you do it as a Zoom and then make it a video later. What's more important is that you tag them properly as a collaborator.
It makes a lot of things a lot easier.
Yeah, doesn't matter how it gets. I honestly, I just find IG live super easy because you don't have to do anything else.
Do you have to have a certain number of followers to go live on IG?
Not at all. I don't think so.
No, you
That's
don't.
something I've ever heard. Yeah, it's a great question. I didn't think so, but who knows how things change.
I don't think so. I
And
have 800 and you can do it.
Tom, because here's another thing, Tom, you got to realize people are nervous about going live the first time, just like you were. This is a great opportunity for you now as a veteran going live, right? To get 20 people to do their first live with you. That's what they should be doing. And you can teach them, hey guys, here's exactly, how I invited you. And they see how easy it is, and it'll help them to do it quicker on their end if you help them. You guys should use Tom as a resource as much as you can. Good questions, guys. Anything else?
For your content, you focus on what do people need, what are their pain, their desire. That's the content that you create your content based on that.
You should, right? What do they want? What are their struggles? And how do you what you want to do is how do you solve that problem? Or is it entertainment, right? Like at the end of the day, what are the pages that you follow? I can't see, I'm sorry, who I'm speaking to. What was your name?
Really.
Millie.
Okay, so yeah, so if you were to look at the people that you follow, why do you follow them? I'll jump in. I follow accounts that I'm interested in, right? And most of them are themed accounts, meaning I'll follow a golf page, because on that golf page, there's 50 different types of swings that they're teaching me. But if that page had like a swing and then a picture of their dog and then where they were out, eating, I have no idea what I'm getting from this page. So I wouldn't be inclined to follow a page like that. I just want to know what I'm getting when I follow that page. When I follow Queens, like Live Love Queens, I know I'm just gonna get everything related to Queens, whether it be, new houses, new trends, new restaurants, something. It's about a community that I'm following. People like to know what I'm signing up for when I hit follow, which is why we're so selective in who we follow. All right, guys. Well, I hope to see you guys in the school community. I hope you found this helpful. Tom, if there's anything I could do for you, if there's any questions that you get hit up with afterwards, happy to hop on a call and answer.
Awesome. Thank you again, Mario. Appreciate it.